What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Animation Revaluation podcast. I am Lizer, and with me is Jay. What's up, Jay?
I'm back, baby.
Hey, he said it this time. Holy shit. How you doing, man?
Pretty good. How was your week?
uh, I'm here. I'm tired. How was your week?
Slow and painful.
Yeah. Oh boy. But it wasn't all bad. We got to watch some anime. Yeah. It's a pretty dope one too. It was a little thing called Sweetness and Lightning. And I had the sheer audacity to tell you, hey, I know 5 episodes is usually what we do, but fuck you. Watch 7. And you said, fuck you, you don't pay me. No, but usually we do 5 episodes. I requested for oh, by the way, Celeste isn't here this week. She's too good for us. But I made the request of watch the first 5, and then I don't care if you skip 6, but watch 7. Right? So you told me before recording you didn't watch all 7, but you did watch 7.
I watched 1 through 5, skipped 6, and watched 7.
Okay. So obviously there's a reason that I wanted you to watch 7, but first let me give a rundown about what we watched.
Yep.
So this anime is called Sweetness and Lightning, and it is about a single father named Kohei, who is a high school teacher. I'm not sure exactly what he teaches. I think math. And he lives with his young daughter, Sumugi, who's right there in the picture, but this is another picture of her here. And she is the fucking most adorable, cutest child character I've ever seen in an anime. Because I come from the type of breed of person that goes, ew, children, get that fucking weird-ass fetus thing away from me. But this girl, I can watch this show all day and not worry about it. So he lives with her. He had a wife. 6 months before the first episode of the show, she passed away. We don't know from what, we just know it's from some kind of disease. But here she is. Just so it's not a mystery. Her name was Tay. So now it's just him and his daughter. Now, he works late because he's a teacher. He has to grade exams and all that type of stuff. His daughter goes to pretty much, I think, daycare or preschool early on.
I think it's preschool.
Yeah, I think so, but I don't really know how the grading system works over there in Japan. But she goes there, she spends the day there, then usually a babysitter will come pick her up. If not a babysitter, then Kohei's childhood friend comes to pick her up and takes care of her for a little bit. He comes home late and basically feeds her just convenience store box lunches and stuff because he doesn't have time to cook. Which isn't the best for, a growing girl. So he wants to start cooking for her. Thing is, my man can't cook, at all. I think at one point he shows a picture of when he fed her his home cooked meal once and her reaction, and she's basically about to barf. So basically one day they're looking at the cherry blossom festival thing that happens in Japan. They're obsessed with the sakura petals over there. So they go into this field with all these people who are fucking getting crunk and shit. and they find this one girl alone in front of a tree. She's eating food underneath the tree, and the petals are falling on her and everything. And she's like crying. So they run up to her. Sumugi is like, "Oh, what's wrong?" Blah blah blah. The girl's mom wasn't there, even though she was supposed to be. So she ate alone. It was kind of sad. Sumugi wanted to try the food. She's like, "Oh, sorry, I ate it all because it was fucking good shit." And then says that her mother runs a restaurant and gives them the card for the restaurant. Day goes by, it gets late. She hasn't had anything to eat. So he's like, "Hey, how about we go to that restaurant?" So they call. They're like, we're kind of closed, but okay, we'll let you in since you got the card." They get there. It's just the same girl that they saw earlier, who is revealed to be Kotori, who is actually his student. And he didn't recognize her because she looked completely different with her glasses and hair braided. And we find out, yeah, she looks like a completely different person. I don't want to say who she looks like.
Okay, as long as I was having the same thought.
I knew you would.
I was like, that first picture the first like scene where her scared me, and I was like, not again.
No.
Not again.
But she's revealed to be his student and everything. We find out that her mother owns the restaurant that they're in, but it's actually been closed a lot because she's gotten pretty famous and does a lot of TV interviews and cooking shows now. So they're about to leave, and she's like, "Wait, I can make you something." Thing is, she has the concept down of how to cook things, just not the experience. And she doesn't know recipes. So basically what she does is sits them down, let them think that she knows how to make a meal, and then calls her mother in a panic to teach her how to make rice, one of these simplest dishes. Keep in mind that this is an Asian woman.
I was about to say, she's got everything except the experience, and I was gonna say, yeah, that's basically me in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Like, except that, like, I make attempts. 'Cause I can cook, just not well. Yet. I'm getting better at it. It's just that my taste palette is kind of on the spicier side. So
Okay.
I have to kind of relax with that. 'Cause,
You're gonna get like an ulcer.
yeah, you already got one of those in the house. Don't need any more.
Ooh.
Yeah.
But yeah, she cooks them rice. She actually makes pretty much perfect rice first try, and they come to this agreement. I'm paraphrasing what happens, but they come to this agreement of every couple of days he will come by, and they'll learn how to cook something together. That way he can basically learn how to cook for his daughter. And when they're eating the rice on the first day, Sumugi's super happy, super pepped up about it, and he's like, "Oh, it's been so long since we had a home cooked meal." He's like, "Yeah, it has been. I'm gonna do more for you." And then she goes, "And it's been so long since we ate together." And he flashes back to her sitting in front of the TV with a boxed lunch, like a microwave dinner, and he's not there, and he just like has this realization, like, "Oh shit, I'm not doing enough as her father. Like, I'm not being there for her." And that's when he dedicates himself to learn how to make her dishes and everything.
I think that was the cutest thing.
Oh, this show is so sweet. Oh my god. Like, I had already seen this, right? I wanted to refresh myself, so I watched 1 through 5. And I was like, okay, I'll take a break and I'll watch, 6, 7 later. Maybe I'll even finish it. At the end of 5, one of my sisters came in my room. Now, keep in mind, I'm the only one who watches anime at home. She came in my room. She watched maybe about 5 minutes of it. And then I went to shut it off so I can put something else on to entertain her. She goes, "What are you doing?" It's like, "I was changing it." She's like, "No, this is really
We got her.
She's like,
Ladies
"This
and
is really
gentlemen, we
cute."
got her.
Yeah.
Oh? Huh, you opened up a door.
Yeah.
Look at that. Now it's gonna go be nothing but an actual addiction.
I mean, look at this face.
I
Look at that.
It was too good to start an addiction.
I'm a diabetic now. But yeah, like that's basically what happened in the first episode. And then, for the rest of the episodes, it's basically like a dish a day type of thing.
Oh.
It's not day after day that this is happening. Like, there's breaks in between, but every episode is a different dish that they learn. And you get to see, Kohei, he starts to get better with the knife, and he's, chopping things faster. He's more confident, learning different skills. Kotori too. And we also get to meet other characters. Like I mentioned earlier, his best friend is this man right here, Yusuke.
The blonde. Yeah.
Yeah. Who Kotori thought he kidnapped Tsumugi. And she was like stalking them and hiding in a bush. And she thought that he was giving her a cigarette when it was just like rolled up chocolate. And he's just like, I wouldn't even say a childhood friend. He was a high school friend, I believe. And he's like this laid back, smoker, blonde haired dude. He's revealed to actually be a chef, or like a bartender who cooks.
Yeah.
Basically.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like his character. He's real chill. But
from the little bit that I did see of him, really cool, really cool guy.
Yeah, like there's never an episode that like focuses on him too much, except this introductory episode of him. But he just fits in. Like you don't even question why he's in there sometimes.
Mm.
But then we also get to meet Shinobu, and that is Kotori's friend. And she also has a family who owns a store that sells vegetables. So she actually kind of, at one point, like, butts in and starts joining in on all the cooking, and she starts supplying the vegetables for them. And she tells them, like, oh, yeah, you're following this recipe, but this recipe calls for spring vegetables. We're in, fall right now, so here's the fall version of it. It's the same thing, different vegetables. Like that kind of thing, because they'll start panicking, like, why can't I find spring onions? Because it's not spring. Because they have no experience. And it's just like little antics here and there that happen. And it's like, oh, that was cute. Oh, that was funny. But sometimes the show hits you. Would you agree?
Yeah. But before we get into that, I have a kind of spoilerish question. Kind of. It's about Kotori and the knife. Your fear of kitchen knives. Does that ever get touched on a little more?
In the anime, no. I don't know if the manga ever touched on it, or if it's just like, haha, funny character trait. I want to read the manga. I've just never gotten around to it.
That's something I was actually really interested about, and it's weird to say it like that, but it was because it was like touched on. But there, for fears to happen, there always has to be an event.
Yeah.
And I want to know the event.
Like when you first start watching and she brings it up at first, you notice that she has a band-aid. So you're like, oh, she must have cut herself earlier trying to practice or something.
Right.
But then, from episode 1 to episode 12, 6 months pass. She still has band-aids. Now, I don't know if it's just, character design, consistency, we're going to keep the band-aid on her, or if she's been trying, she's just really clumsy with the knife and she keeps cutting herself. I don't know. I hope it gets explained in the manga.
I hope so. Because it just seemed really I wouldn't say out of place, but really ominous just to leave it hanging like that.
Yeah. Especially like her reaction was like so big
like her facial reaction.
Yeah.
That's why I thought it was like something bigger. Besides like, mom not being home because she's always busy.
Yeah.
And there's like no prior evidence, knowledge. So I guess it's just something. It's just really something like ominous to leave up in the air like that.
Yeah. But at the same time, I don't remember exactly what episode it is, but they kind of make a joke out of it where Sumugi in class that day, she made, I think, curry, and they used children's knives, and she cut stuff. So when they go to the restaurant that night to cook, she asks her father if she can cut. So he helps her. He holds her hand while she cuts with the actual, big girl knife. And Kotori comes up. She's like, "Oh, weren't you scared?" She's like, "No, I can do it. I'm not scared of knives." And like she's all smug and everything. And Kotori's just like, "Oh." So that I'm like, is it, is it a joke? Is it a real phobia she has? Like, what is this?
Maybe. Though it was just like, though I did get a little bit of anxiety watching the dad cut the onion for the first time.
Yeah.
When he was cutting it like sideways.
Yeah. And
That
it got
gave
so
me
close to
so
his
much.
hand.
Yeah, that gave me anxiety. Because I've never thought about cutting an onion that way, but I see why it's done. And then he's just muttering to himself, "Keep the fingers in," which I've seen like people actually like, cut onions.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, that's normal. But just like the way that it was cut, also the way that he got all prepped up with the mask and the face, the goggles and the face
Yeah,
mask.
she Kotori put it all on him. He was like, "It doesn't fit over my glasses."
It's like something weird happens or something like magical happens when you cut an onion. It's like you need protection. It was like that's funny.
Also, fun fact for anyone listening: I used to work at a couple different restaurants. If you want to avoid crying while cutting an onion, step one, don't be a bitch. Step two, the very tip of the onion, the root part, don't cut that. You could cut anywhere else except that, but that's what like releases the cry juices. So just avoid that.
So it just causes the onion to bleed.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
There's really good like diagrams you can find online that shows like how to dice an onion without cutting the root. Like it's fine.
Cooking stream when?
You don't want that because I can either do a really good like, oh, here's what I make for my family, or we can go into like hachima.
I'm trying to do something like I've never done before. See how it turns out.
You mean like a tarantula?
Huh?
Like a tarantula?
Like, no. That's not food. I'm talking like trying to master chef it up, like I end up fucking serving like raw chicken or something like that. I don't know.
Yo, why is this chicken pink? Oh. I'll put it on the grill. Did you turn the grill on? Oh. Just shit, I knew I forgot something. But back to the show. Like I was saying, there's a lot of really funny moments, but then there's moments that hit you, and they hit you hard. So like I had mentioned, 6 months before the first episode, the mother had passed from some disease. We get an episode, and I don't even know if it was like in the first 5 or if it was in like 6 or 7 or something, where Kohei goes to Sumugi's class, and there's like a parent-teacher thing happening, and all the kids are playing games and all this stuff, and they say he gets told that the mothers every year make the kids new bags, and he sees all the girls running around with their new like hot pink bags and everything, and then he goes to Sumugi's locker, and it has the bag that she had that her mother made her, and it's like stained and worn out. So that night, he's like, "Hey, I was thinking about making you a new bag." And she's just like, "Why?" It's like, "Oh, well, there's stain on it, I can't get it out no matter how many times I wash it. So I was thinking about doing another one." And she's just like, no, no, that's the last thing mom gave me. We're not doing this. I was like, oh no, oh. What about you? Can you think of anything that like kind of hits you?
I wouldn't say like at least anything that was like really sad for the most part, but definitely something that was relatable and that I was kind of taught at a very young age to not do, which is in episode I think 7, I think it was, where she went out on her own. And that that kind of hit really hard because I've never done it. I've thought about doing it when I was younger, and you know, there was just kind of the dangers of going out on your own, especially as far as she went on her own, being that small.
Yeah.
And it kind of like I would say like kind of like a wake up call, really, or like something that I just didn't really think about. You know, as a child, you don't really think about much, or like the dangerous outcomes of like certain situations.
Right.
And kind of with that episode, I kind of saw why, you know, why my guardian was just so bent on, keeping me safe, making sure I don't go out by myself when I was smaller, make sure stuff didn't happen to me. And watching that episode just kind of made it all flash back.
Yeah.
And really relatable.
So for anyone who hasn't seen the show, what happened in that episode, and I have a screen cap up here. Kohei, he gets sick, and Sumui's kind of like bugging him a little bit, and he's like trying to shoo her off. He's like, "Oh, go eat, the Jello that's in the fridge," and there's none in there, so she comes back and bugs some more. So she decides, since he's sick in bed, she's gonna go outside. We don't know for what. She's just gonna go. So she packs a bag, she puts her clothes on, she walks out. It's actually pretty cute at first because she's going down the street and her imagination is going wild. She's imagining that she's walking like on this really thin plank and all around her is just the ocean and there's sharks, and she's like, I don't want to meet sharks, same, same. She keeps going. Some girls help her cross the street. But eventually she ends up at the family restaurant with Kotori. And we find out that she actually went because she knows her dad needs help, so she wanted, someone who might be able to help him. At this point, Kohei had woken up, he feels better, and his daughter's not in the house. So he's freaking out. He just books it outside, and Kotori, packs some things for him, says, I'll walk you home, or part of the way home, and then they see him outside. So let me show this real quick. She says to Kotori, I didn't cry. Am I a good girl? And having already seen it, I was like, oh no. Because as soon as she sees her father, she gets hype and she starts running. He sees her and he yells like as loud as he can. Yeah. Like, don't leave the house on your own. And she just like at this point he's never been shown to like berate her or anything in the show. Like there was even a point where she had like an argument with the kid. He's like, I'll take her home and I'll talk to her, and he just like sits down and talks to her. There was never any like raising of the voice or anything. So she just like starts bawling, and my heart hurt. And I didn't realize this on my first watch through, like a couple years ago when I first saw the show. But two things that I realized this time. Number one, he was sick in bed, right? Just 6 months ago, she lost her mother to a sickness. So she was probably panicking, and this is what her thought was. Like, I need to help him in any way I can. And not only that, in Japan, they have this thing where they send, maybe not her age, but they send children out on their, like, on a quest, basically. It's like their first task outside of the house. And for the children to be able to accomplish it, it's, it's like getting a medal of honor to them. It's a great honor to children when they complete their first task. So she has that moment of like, I didn't cry, I did it. I came all the way over here on my own, and she's expecting praise because she did her first task, and then she gets yelled at. So I'm watching this. I'm like, oh no. Shit hurt.
I mean, if I was in her shoes, I definitely would have done the same thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because it's honestly, it sucks, like, emotionally and physically, to really see someone that's been taking care of you in a very bad state.
Oh, yeah.
And you can't do anything. So I definitely understand where she was coming from. She was like, I gotta do this. I have to do everything that I possibly can and, use resources. And she went to one of the only places that, like, she knew by heart.
Yeah.
Just by traveling. I was honestly impressed. Going there, like, maybe every once in a while. She knew the way, where to turn. And I was like, honestly, impressive.
Yeah.
just the means weren't quite there. She got yelled at. Well, that kind of hurt me.
Yeah, definitely. And me personally, I can see like both sides of this relationship because I grew up in like that single parent household where like the one parent I had was busy with work so that they can afford to take care of us, but actually wasn't able to, like, time wise. So I had to like learn how to cook for my siblings and do stuff like that for them. So I can relate to the dad in that aspect, and then I can also relate to her because you know my mom had pretty recently like gotten really sick, and there was like a type of sick that there was nothing I could do, and just like that panic of like what can I possibly do to help. I didn't have a situation of leaving the house because at this point I'm already grown. um, but just like that panic and like you don't really know what to do. You've already lost one parent. What can you possibly do for the other one? And then I had my siblings too. I'm like it's really just gonna be me and them if something happens to her. And it just like I was able to relate to both of these characters, and it's not even in a good way. I was like, oh no. Let me see, what is this? I didn't even name this one. This is just dot dot dot.
Nice.
Hello? What?
Nice. Thank you, Discord. Absolutely wonderful. Maybe is it open? Is it open? Nope, doesn't even open. That's wonderful.
Okay, here we go. So, oh yeah, it's him and her. They had just left the restaurant. They made the mother's curry. He finds the mother's old recipe book, and they go to the restaurant and they make her dry curry. And everyone had fun. It was a really like lighthearted episode. And then they leave the restaurant, and Sumugi just like grabs his leg and he's like, Sumugi, what's wrong? And she says, Mommy's not coming. Daddy makes it instead. And she breaks down and starts crying. And I was like, oh,
my chest,
my heart, my soul.
Oh, that hurts. That hurts so bad.
Let me see.
What's interesting?
I want to like pick up the mood now. Here, take this. What was interesting?
But it's like I guess it's just a relation, to this whole anime as a whole. and it just kind of hits home for me.
Mm-hmm.
No, for the majority, even though I was raised by my grandparents and I know my family, this is like prime. This is like primary family to me.
Yeah.
And I can definitely see this, especially with like, dealing with loss, and it's not easy nor fun. No one really wants to go through it, but
No.
it, this hurt in more places than one. But it's a part of life. You just have to deal with it sometimes.
Can we talk about how Kotori wants Kohei's D?
Yeah.
Like, so obviously. It's like, what's wrong with being normal? Normal, plain sweets that aren't too sweet, they're good too. And he acknowledges that she's talking about him in that situation. Because he was talking about Candy. And she's like, what's wrong? I don't like sweet sweets. I like normal sweets. Normal, plain sweets that aren't too sweet. They're good too. And he's just like, thank you. So he acknowledges that she's like crushing on him. And I'm just there like, okay, where is this going?
John Tron. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm like, please wait a couple of years. Please. Like, I know by your standards she's probably legal, but you're her teacher. Wait. Please. You don't want to end up like freaking Call Me Carson. Let me see. Oh yeah, I can summarize the show in one image. There you go. That's the whole show.
Not wrong.
We got it.
Not wrong.
And then I saw this and I was like, I gotta share this because this is 100% true. I will protect it. I want to see it grow up healthy. I want to tell my friends and neighbors about it. Absolutely agree.
Yeah. Oh man.
Again, my sister who doesn't watch anime came in. She was like, "Nah, that girl's cute. Keep playing that shit." I was like, "All right."
Oh man. I think this was absolutely beautiful.
I think it was a great choice for me to show this. Maybe not the best week to choose to show this.
Oh,
a really emotional week. Look at the moves. Look at that. Go. Oh, get it. Oh.
Then this is with the rice. It's like the they were making a sauce. I just don't remember what the sauce was for.
I couldn't even tell you because she does like 4 different dances all while they're making dishes.
Yeah, but I think yeah, it's this one with the whisk. Yeah, I think they were making like the code. They were like making a sauce for they like pack the rice and then roast it.
Oh right, yeah. And so it wouldn't like thicken up too much or something. She did the special dance.
Yeah, he's like, I need a spell, and I think that was the cutest shit.
Spoiler: they do it again in the final episode, and the friend is there, blonde dude.
Yeah.
What the fuck is his name again? Yusuke. He's there, and as I said before, he's a professional. He cooks and does drinks for a living. He starts laughing at her because she's doing the dance. She's like, "Oh, don't laugh, it works. I'll go do it to you." So she starts going to him, and she's like pushing the energy to him. He's just like, "Get the fuck away from me, you little gremlin!" And I was like, "I love this child. She's adorable." Like, I feel like even if someone didn't like this show, like, oh, nothing really happened. It's kind of boring. If I wanted to watch a cooking show, I would have watched, Food Wars. They still love Smoothie. Like, top 10 anime protagonists. Number one, Smoothie.
She got some plot in you.
Hell yeah.
Plot in you stronger than Goku's.
Did you see the episode where they catch and cook fish?
No. I think that's like further. That's either 6.
Yeah, I was about to say it's either
or
6
further
or
than
further
7.
On. But yeah, like no big spoiler here. They caught and cooked fish. Whoa. But she's watching as they like prepare it, and again, nobody there has any experience. So they're watching like a YouTube video on how to like fillet the fish and everything. And she's there. She's had like this really weird day. She's a child. He chops the fish's head off and throws it into a bowl, and it starts bleeding. And her eyes go wide. So I'm just like, oh shit, here we go. She's gonna be like, oh no, we killed it. Like she didn't have the realization that animals have to die for us to eat them. And meanwhile, what actually happens is she's like, holy shit, that's so epic. And I was like, oh, that's not what I was expecting.
I think that was probably my reaction walking into a fish market.
Yeah.
For the first time. I'd be staring at the crabs in the tank, and then they would take them out and put them in the pot. It's like, wait, they're still alive. Hold on.
Wait a second. Like I remember one time my mom made lobster, and I saw this purple thing go into a pot. What sounded like screaming happened, and then a red thing came out of the pot, and I was like, what the fuck?
Oh.
It's like, huh? Like, hold up, son. You gonna have to explain that shit to me. Do it in reverse. Put it in reverse, Terry.
Oh man.
And like, what it was like the air escaping from under the shell, but I thought the lobster was screaming in pain. And I was still like, that's fucking awesome. I was like 6 years old. I was like, that's fucking metal, dude. But yeah, she's like amazed by it, and they had established that she doesn't like raw fish, or she doesn't eat sushi. But the adults try it raw, and they all enjoy it. So the kid is like, wait, they all like it. Hold on, this looks cool. Let me try it. So she eats it raw. She likes it, and she's like, oh my god, isn't this amazing? They're like, what? She's like, it went from that, and she points to the head. It's like, to there, she points to the slices, and then she's like, to this, she points at her stomach. It's like, isn't that amazing? It's like, you just described eating, bro. Like, she's so endearing.
It's too cute.
Too cute. Too pure for this world.
Oh man.
The sister that was watching.
She learned.
No, go ahead.
She learned about the what happens to animals so we can get food.
Yeah, she was down with it. She's like, yeah, let's go.
She quite literally had a pog moment.
Yeah. The sister that sat down and watched it, yeah. She got invested into Tsumugi, as I said before. So I just go, yeah, she's really cute. It sucks that she dies at the end. She's like, no. It's like, no, I'm fucking with you. So like, she had such a visceral reaction. So, no.
She got physically angry.
Yo, she was about to get violent with me. She almost said a slur. Like, yo, chill. She almost like she was about to drop the N-bomb on me. I'm not even black.
Oh man.
Yeah, I take it that you like the show.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
What would you rate it?
This got a 10 in my book.
Yes.
It's got a 10 in my book.
Definitely. I watched the whole season again. This was the quickest 12 episodes of anything I've ever watched. Like usually I'll like sometimes I even wait like the day before we do the podcast to watch something just so it's fresh in my head, and I'll just like it's only 5 episodes and I'm like, oh my god, this is taking so long. What episode am I on again? Episode 1. What? Huh? This I was like, oh, what episode is this? This is the last episode. Oh. So this is what pain feels like. Yeah, it's a 10 for me too.
I think it was great.
So I take it you're probably gonna finish watching it?
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to read the manga.
Okay.
See if there's maybe like a 10 years later she has a black-haired little sibling that's afraid of knives. Uh-oh. How did you like it, Celeste? I had like jokes waiting for her too. I was like, oh, this character's named Shinobu, and she has sharp teeth. Hey, Celeste, you like sharp-toothed characters named Shinobu, right? Because she likes the Monogatari series.
Yeah.
Nope, she's too good for us.
Your soul.
She's an affiliate now. She can't affiliate with us. I'm kidding, Celeste. I love you. Yeah, that does it for this. I guess you have the floor, right? What do you have in store for us?
So, I've decided, and I thought very long and hard about this.
I do like it long and hard. I'm sorry.
And
I regretted that as soon as I said it.
I will preach this manga and anime to the rooftops.
Is it Overlord?
Right. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Fucking Overlord.
Oh yeah, I will preach this to the rooftops.
I've already watched this with you.
Do it again.
Fucking do it again. Like, stop watching the season you're watching now and just go back to the first season.
Listen, I'll watch the whole first season with you, bro. I fucking love it. This is just like I don't know how I stumbled upon this either. I think it was like one of the first like actual anime that I actually watched, like start to finish, and didn't like, and just did it again. I don't know how I found it. I was like, oh, this looks cool, and I was just like,
it is cool. I was right.
And within the last like year or so, I have the whole manga series and working on getting all the light novels.
Hey.
But yeah, Overlord is manga for the next week.
If you like horny women, you'll like Albedo right there in the front. I get it, cause she has horns. Just silence.
One of these days you'll be the death of me.
Yeah.
One of these days. I don't know which one.
I actually heard about this before you introduced it to me, and it was in my list to watch. And I was like, okay, another isekai anime. Here we go. It's going onto the list. I'm gonna go through all of them. I think at the time I was watching Konosuba. And then you preached it to me, and I was like, all right. He said something about like end credit scene, 2 lizards fucking. I'm in.
That's the part.
I was like, I gotta see this. If that's
that part.
that was the moment I was like, okay, what the fuck? All right, no. no, I gotta watch. I gotta watch this now. What's happening here? And I think that says more about our friendship than anything. You mentioned two lizards fucking, and I was like, all right, I'm in. Let's go.
Yeah, I don't. It's funny because this is definitely something I probably can recall. That's really dumb. But that moment of all things, and it's not even in the first season.
Nope. That's season 2.
That's what makes it even better.
I had to watch like a whole season and a half just to see this one part that got me intrigued.
Wait.
Worth. That's how friendship works with me, though, dude. You tell me something stupid, and I'm like, all right, I'm in. Let's go.
I think that's how it goes for me as well. I think that's why this works so well.
That's the chemistry, man.
Good chemistry at that.
Oh, but all right, we'll save that discussion for next week when we watch Overlord. At least the first 5 episodes of season 1. Yes. Or do you want to do something weird like, oh, watch episode 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 from season 2?
Yeah, season 1's fine.
Yeah, season 1's
I think it sets the setting really well, so we can leave it at that.
Like, I've already watched like what 3 seasons of the show, so it's gonna be like, are you gonna continue the show? I already have.
Wait for season 4, baby. Let's go.
But all right, we'll see you guys next week for that.
See you next time.
Remember to spay and neuter your cats and dogs.
What?
I don't know. I was thinking like, what's a good way to like say goodbye to everyone and send a message? I don't know. Fucking. Let's just go with a classic. Goodbye, motherfuckers.